Remember, it was Trump who started this. They drew for proverbial first blood. It was Trump that called Abbott, said, I am entitled, not the words he used in that first phone call, but weeks later, he said he's entitled to 5 seats. He is trying to rig the election before one vote is cast. What more evidence did we need than January 6th, where he tried to light democracy on fire and wreck this country and tried to dial up for 11, almost 12,000 votes to the Secretary of State in Georgia. Now he's doing it in plain sight. You saw him yesterday. He was in the Oval Office with the Speaker of the Indiana legislature and the Senate chair saying, we need to do what J.D. Vance was assigned to tell you to do a week ago. You need to move in Indiana, in Missouri. And of course, Ron DeSantis, who will do anything the guy asks in order to get back in his good graces. So these guys are going. They're not screwing around, and we can't screw around either. And so, yeah, we're pushing back. We'll neutralize what's happened in Texas, but we need other Democrats in other states to do the same thing. This is it. You don't get a do-over. This thing can end.
Is that happening?
This is that serious.
How are you organizing them?
Well, I'm trying to back to this notion. Once a mind is, I'm hoping the legislative leaders in those states are putting pressure. I know the governors like Moore and others, Wes Moore has talked about it in Maryland. Obviously, Kathy Hochul's talked a little bit about it. Pritzker's talked a bit about it, but we got to move. You know, as we pray, we have to move our feet. It's action. So we got to go. And look, back to biting off a lot. I get that. You know, we had to do it in a different way. We're doing it in a transparent way, a temporary way where we're keeping our independent redistricting, which we've had for 15 years, but in a temporary basis, we're responding to what Trump has done and what Texas has done in an emergency manner in 26, 28, and in 2030 for congressional seats only. And we're doing it in the most democratic way of any state in U.S. history. There's never been maps put to the voters, so they'll decide for themselves.
Election, as opposed to the supermajority in a state.
Yeah, or whatever Mar-a-Lago map, you know, writing folks are sending their way, which, I mean, this is, so, you know, this is the contrast in the approach. And again, we're trying to be accountable to this moment. I'm not interested in holding hands and talking about the world should be. I'm not going to be the ex-governor sitting there in some think tank putting on a white paper saying, you know, I can't take that anymore. Enough, everybody. Right. We got to get in the ring.
Do you feel that you'll be able to neutralize, you and other blue state governors be able to do that?
I hope so. But even if we can't, they know that Trump did this because he knows he's going to lose.